One set.
Camera rolling.
Sound.
The good, the bad, and the just plain standard. Take one.
Salut.
Hey.
All right.
Welcome back to The Good, the Bad, and the Just Plain Standard podcast, where we provide you with our informed opinions on movies we watched together. We are your hosts,
Adam.
Anouk.
And Yann. Welcome to Suburbicon, a town of great wonder and excitement, built with the promise of prosperity for all. Isn't it time for a new start?
Starring
Matt Damon, Julianne Moore, Oscar Isaac, Glenn Fleshler, Michael Cohen, Megan Ferguson, Noah Jupe, Jack Conley, Gary Basaraba, Alex Hassel, Tony Espinoza, and Leith M. Burke, or Leith. Leith or Leith?
Maybe. Leith.
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 Name that.
I don't know. So, as starters, we should say that it's not been released in the UK just yet. It's been released in the US on the 27th of October.
Oh, wow.
It tanked.
Did it?
Yes. It on a 25 million budget, it only got back $5 million.
Oh, I was going to say like
$5?
Yes, only half a person.
Somebody didn't even pay for a full ticket.
Oh, ouch! Why? What happened?
One under 6-year-old went to see it.
Yeah, I don't know, because in the US they count dollars opening weekends and stuff. Probably the same in the UK, but in France, with our socialist burn the rich mentality, we don't talk about money, so it's bums on seats that we count.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. That's interesting.
So,
that
bearing that in mind, it's another one where, well, it's actually the reverse of Murder on the Orient Express, which was released here last week and is being released today on the 10th of November. That's the day we are actually recording this. So, yeah, sometimes it's early on one border of the pond and on one side of the pond, and sometimes that's the reverse. That's weird.
Man, this bombed? Well, it bombed tanked opening weekend. It might make it back.
That's a shame. Maybe because there's so much going on. I mean, there are so many films out there right now.
Oh, it's been written by the Coen Brothers, right? Yeah. And I've looked at Box Office Mojo. This is my new go-to website for those things now. It's directed by George Clooney. And the last film that was kind of a success was The Monuments Men. For him,
yeah.
Like he had with a 70 million budget, and it's production budget, so I don't know if those include the marketing. But anyway, he got back in total 154 million.
All right.
So yeah.
That's all right.
And the Coen Brothers themselves, as director and writer, Fargo. I don't know if it's the most famous one, but it was the most in terms of budget, if it's the biggest one. But that's the one we know because William H. Macy uses the technique we're using, so that's a base. They had a 7 million budget and they brought back 60 in total, which is quite nice, actually.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's very good.
That's good. But I mean, they're quite strange, I think. Quite a lot of their storylines are quite different, and the way that they edit, I think, is quite strange. Maybe that's why it tanked, because it's not one of those, Well,
they create their own universe and they stick to the reality of the universe, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever you
Very
think
good
about
at that.
Yeah. For instance, I've never seen one of those in real life because I wasn't born at the time. The TV remote, the flashlight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
And I'm pretty sure that's how, at that time, it must have been the 20s or something. That's how remotes worked. Now we have infrared light, but at the time it was probably like not normal light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
I've got a good phrase that sums up the Coen Brothers. You're never disappointed with the Coen Brothers, but you never get what you expect.
Yeah, the trailer was a bit misleading, I feel.
I agree with that.
It was a bit misleading.
Completely misleading.
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard that that's their trait, right? The trailer, you watch the trailer and you get something completely different, and that's kind of okay. I really liked this film.
Just linger on the trailer for 2 seconds. Me and Anouk have seen both the US theatrical trailer when we were in New York before we saw it for the second time. And we also saw yesterday when we saw Thor Ragnarok, the UK trailer. And they're totally different.
Yeah,
the trailers are totally different because the US one makes it look like an action flick.
Yeah.
Matt Damon's out to get revenge for something that, well, when we do the plot summary, he's fighting back against the mafia. And then the UK trailer makes it look like he's had a very huge wrong done to him. And then it's like, has he really? Which is more in line with the film. I feel the UK trailer does a better idea of portraying what you're going to get than the US trailer did, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen the Shining romantic comedy trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
Perfect. That's so good. But that's the thing, like, you can just make it anything you want in the trailer, which is so funny, because they'll just market it like that.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Oh, what a... Ugh.
No, you said you loved that. You said you liked that film. I'm still unsure what I feel about that film. I know
Suburbicon.
I loved Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah.
Way better than Apocalypse. He was Apocalypse.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the villain there. And
so he was.
Did you ever see Oscar Isaacs before Star Wars in anything? Because the first time I saw him was in The Force Awakens.
Yes, I definitely have, but I have completely forgotten where, which is no help to anyone. No, I will find out.
While Anouk looks, I'll do a plot summary, shall I?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, this will be funny because me and Anouk missed the start of the film, but I'm informed by Yann that the film starts with a whole trailer for Living in Suburbicon, where a black family moves in to the dismay of everyone else in the town.
Yeah, it starts in 4:3 for a few seconds, and then it goes into full widescreen. And you've got the "Welcome to Suburbicon." And, the black family is moving in. Yeah,
and then we follow not only the black family, we follow the family across the way, whose father, Matt Damon, and Julianne Moore are living together with Julianne Moore's sister, who's also played by Julianne Moore. Totally bizarre.
Yes.
Yeah.
That night, there's a going crazy thing that happens. And I'm going to do the rest of this plot summary like a Jeff Goldblum. I think.
Obviously, I feel
just become Jeff, and I'm like, So the kid's taken downstairs, and he's tied to the chair, and everyone's like, I don't know what's going on, but stuff happens, and the mother she dies, and the kid's like, what? I don't understand what's going on. I mean, she was okay, and we were okay. And then Julianne Moore, the sister, not the wife, she moves in with Matt Damon's character, and they're living together, and it's Maggie, and they're clearly having a thing, and the kid's unsure what's going on, and he slowly puts it together that maybe his dad's responsible for the death of his mother, and it all kind of falls apart from there, you know?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
That wasn't Jeff Goldblum's accent, but it was...
No, you kind of went a bit...
You want to know how I got these scars? I sort of went like Heath Ledger at the end.
Yeah. Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I saw him in there first.
Yeah, I was about to say, you definitely have seen him in before Star Wars.
Yeah, with Alicia Vikander. She had an Oscar since then, but yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Oscar Isaacs. He studied his alma mater is Juilliard, just like Alan Tudyk.
Miami-Dade, Daddy.
This one is early. My Dade College, but afterwards Juilliard, the drama school.
Yeah.
The first one was a college. So just like Alan Tudyk, I learned today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Your best friend, Jan.
Yes, well, they do on YouTube those SAG-AFTRA talks from time to time.
Sagaloo.
And one with Alan Tudyk, which is like an hour or something, just appeared on their website. So it has the industry. Yeah, it should be very, very nice.
Did you guys get what I was talking about in the plot summary when I was doing it like Jeff Goldblum, or should I clarify a bit more? Do you think we got the point? Basically, Matt Damon's wife dies, and we slowly find out that Matt Damon might have been more responsible for his wife's death than we think.
Yeah.
That's what Jeff Goldblum was trying to say there.
Yeah.
Gonna be this way.
I have doubts. I don't know if because it was the case in those years or whatever, but I don't think the race thing adds anything.
In this film?
Yeah.
It's a shame. I like that idea, but they don't use it enough. It's a B plot. Remember back in Saw, I'm like, A and B plot. The A plot in this film is obviously Matt Damon, and the B plot is the black family, but we meet the black family first.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had in my notes. I'm not sure I understand the B plot.
Yeah, and
what I got from that was that George Clooney was obviously trying to say that the whole of this town was blaming someone of color, but actually the violence and the mob idea were coming from white people.
That's actually a good idea.
That's kind of like a finger up to racism, because it's like, obviously not saying that white people are to blame, but just saying that there's so much racism towards the other, but actually maybe you should look in your home first.
I mean, this is a stretch because we're interpreting in it, we have creative minds, so we all write, the three of us, we all write our own plays and screenplays and stuff like that. So we think, widely about what that could mean as a narrative. To me, right now, I'm thinking it's kind of poetic in a way that the black family has a really normal life, and Matt Damon's family has this really topsy-turvy life. And it's kind of like that world would expect the black family to be doing crime and all of this immoral stuff. And it's actually Matt Damon's character and his family that are the wrongdoers.
Exactly. That kind of plays into my point. Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, reverse of things. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what they were going for.
Probably.
I didn't get it. You don't get it, but if you sit and think about it, then you do.
It should have been played more.
But that's
I think I agree with you. There should have been more towards that.
That's standard Coen Brothers, though. They're very ambiguous. I mean, you just have to look at the end of No Country for Old Men. I know that's a book.
Yeah.
But, everyone talks about the ending of that film compared to the rest of that film. It's like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the end of that film I can't remember the actor. It's not Jeff Bridges, but it's like a Jeff Bridges-esque character. He's telling his wife about a dream he had. And I think it ends with him going, and I woke up, and then the film ends. Like, it's really bizarre in that way.
I'm trying to think of who it is. Anyway, yeah. I mean, maybe it's a film that just tries to make the person think.
Yeah.
After it's done. It's not just watch something and then your initial thought and then buy, which quite a lot of films are.
I think that's what you get with George Clooney, especially the director. Like, he's got he's not doing it to further his career. He's doing it because he has a point to make.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is what we said actually in the last episode we recorded. The whole end bit about people on stage. You shouldn't be making something for money. You should be making it because you want to say something. At least with Suburbicon, there is a message in here. If that message is clear, that's hard to say. And it's also quite hard to say are people looking for a message when they go to the cinema? This is my next question. You know how films, obviously you think of films like Schindler's List and The Killing Fields and all of these movies or even like Saving Private Ryan with the whole beginning about war is hell, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, these are all sending a message very clearly.
But you don't go into Thor Ragnarok and look for a message.
No, this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that do you think that cinema goers are A, looking for a message when they go to the cinema, or B, if they're not, will they pick up on a message if it's there?
I think quite a lot of the time they will. But actually, it depends on who you are, because we're going to have a discussion about this film, right? But quite a lot of people don't.
Well, just like you said in the episode we recorded not so long ago, that people don't like to guess the end. They like to be spoon-fed.
Oh, with the whole Dark Knight Rises thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So if the message is not clear, they'll just like, I didn't talk about that before, but at the Ed Fringe, I liked pretty much everything I saw, except one thing I went to see was a contemporary art version of Alice in Wonderland. It was so deconstructed and so weird. And I know that we are always told that even if you didn't like it, always try to find something to say nice afterwards to the person.
Yeah.
I didn't even think. I was just so still shocked. And there were actually 2 or 3 things that were nice. But when one of the women from the production came afterwards to ask if I liked it, I just said, well, I didn't understand anything. That's the only thing I was able to say. And she said, yeah, it's fine. It's usually, but then did you, I don't know. Well, the dancing was great, but pretty much the only thing I understood then. So
there's a disconnect between film and cinema, because I remember last year when we were taught is never always assume the audience. What was the phrasing they used? It was like, assume your audience is intelligent. They distinctly told us a phrase, and I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. It's about the audience. Basically, that give your audience credit and see that they're smarter than you think you are. Like, they'll pick up on stuff. But in some senses, I feel that cinema's kind of numbed that in a way, especially with a lot of stuff that comes out, especially like when you get cinema that's just there to be enjoyed, which I agree with too, totally. Like, people want to go and have a good time. But there are some times when it's, if you've seen so much, you don't pick up on this stuff. Because I'll be honest, I didn't really think about that whole, the the plot connecting the black family and the white family, the swapping like the ideas of what they would be in that time. But I think that's mainly because like that recently I'd just come off of watching 2-4 movies or Jigsaw, you know, like I wasn't in the mind for looking for like artistic or messages, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's always the trick of exposition to actually to actually spoon feed people. But yeah, we're not crazy about those.
Don't spoon feed your audience. That was the phrase.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. A good example of that would be, we'll talk about that one day because the original movie is just incredibly great. Death at a Funeral, UK, and there is an US version. Mm-hmm. Both with Peter Dinklage as the little guy who comes and turns stuff around. And the original one has Alan Tudyk as the guy on Valium. Which is just great. That's a prime example. I talked about that with Mark last year because they were both on Netflix. So Death at a Funeral, original version and US version. Also, there are only like 5 years between the two. So that was quite weird. But the new one was made by Frank Oz. And no. The original one was made by Frank Oz and the remake by Neil LaBute, who is a great writer, but apparently when it comes to directing, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either when it comes to directing. Yeah, I think also you need to understand what film you're going to see, right?
Yeah.
So like you don't come into Thor with the same mindset as you come in with Suburbicon, and especially with us now seeing films all the time, maybe that's something that we need to watch out for.
Yeah, we need to train ourselves to be refreshed every time we go in.
Like know which film and the directors and whoever's behind it, so that you know that when you're going through it's going to be a certain type. And also there are different forms of entertaining.
God, it's almost like this podcast has become a job. Oh dear.
Yes.
I just remembered something briefly about tone and depth that shift for a film. If we're talking about going into a film with the right mindset, again with Schindler's List. Schindler's List was one of those films that they banned like popcorn at. Because of the subject matter.
That's interesting. But I can understand that because there's part of you that's like, why am I eating popcorn while we're talking about something that actually happened in history? Yeah. Like, that's a very weird... But it's the same thing with the phones. Well, let's not bring this subject up again, but...
Phones.
We can, because I thought it was in Fat Man on Batman podcast, but it's Kermode. At one point, he's talking about there is one critic who came into the cinema with his computer to take notes.
Oh Christ.
No.
What an idiot.
No.
God almighty.
So anti that. And I mean, the reason why I brought this up was because recently, this morning, I signed a petition to stop cutting of BA performance course.
Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't put on cinema mode.
Oh, for God's sake, Yann. God's sake.
Go again, please.
They've cut the BA performance and arts course at certain universities. I think it's Lancashire or something. And our coach put up a petition to sign it because this is basically what's happened is that because it's so normal, because people are watching all of these things so frequently and because it's on your screen and it's in your bedroom, it's at home, the cinema you can see any point at any time that you want, no one has respect for it anymore. And that's why people have their phones on and their laptops and all this stuff because there's no respect. And also you forget how much the arts completely change our world. Like everything that you see when it comes to design, what you're wearing, your phones, your everything is the arts. And this is something that we've kind of, because it's so normal and it's so kind of everyday, we've forgotten that this is something that you have to study and you have to like work hard for.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I brought it up, because watching something with a message maybe might not do as well as something that's just entertaining, because cinema is so kind of, popcorny. So
with that jump, we can jump into scenes that we thought were nice, especially with filmmaking in mind. For example, the one that pops in my head is when Julianne Moore, as the sister, is reading doing the prayer with the child actor in this. It cuts to the family across the road, and we hear her giving this whole speech about praying for a mum and we see a mum and her child across the road, and I thought that's really sweet, a really nice way of doing that and making it interesting to the viewer than just watching a kid with his eyes closed. You know, we get a bit more context. Like, there are a lot of stuff in this film that is, you can clearly tell is like well made. Like the whole "I'm sorry for your loss" section later on is perfect.
Oh yeah,
nails it.
Oh, there are some scenes, and I mean, even just a little ways of showing a bigger subject, like the fact that they've put up prices for the black person.
Oh, that scene was rough.
You know, and everyone around her is like, yes, that pint of milk is $20.
Yeah.
And everyone is basically saying to her, get out. We don't want you here because you're not going to be able to afford it. So we'll push you out in many different ways, like banging on the dustbin lids together outside your house, like 24 hours a day. And I feel like that's something that we don't hear very much. How has this happened? It's not just racism in little ways of like, oh, fuck you, like, we don't want you here. It's not, there's little things like, sorry, if you want to buy your groceries here, you'll have to spend $20 on every little thing that you buy.
Yeah.
You know, little subtle things like that. It's like, makes you think about how these things happen.
Or the constant TV interview with the woman talking about integration on the television. That comes up.
Yeah.
It comes up multiple times. I'm trying
the
to
next step is mixing races and having mixed babies.
I know that I wanted to move here because it was a white area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really focus on, I cannot focus on all aspects, filmmaking, story. So on this one, I was more for once about the characters and the actors.
Yeah.
And obviously Oscar Isaac's everything every time he was there he just redeemed himself from Apocalypse in this one. It's just like, it's really nice. And also the kid, I really like the Usual Suspects moment. Like when he's just seeing this, he's just, he has a future.
Careful, don't talk about Kaiser anymore. Don't talk about that actor anymore. Kaiser Schroden is played by Kevin Spacey in Usual Suspects.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, you know, it's everyone. So who knows who we can trust and not talk about. But I mean, I've always been that type of person that's like, I'm not going to stop listening to or watching something just because one of them was involved in a blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Especially when the truth is out there, as they say in the X-Files. No, when the truth is in the eye of the beholder. We are not there anyway, so, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, no. Anyway.
Maybe take this bit out.
No, I was just saying that there's no point in not talking about Kevin Spacey.
I kept the Mongoloid bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all right. Oh, no,
I don't think it means anything bad, but I'm not sure.
You did call somebody a Mongoloid, but you called them a Mongoloid because they had their phone out, right?
You called everyone.
Oh, right.
So it's fine.
All right, so that's not offensive.
Yeah, you're not singling out someone out, so yeah. We were surrounded by absolute Mongoloids, were your words.
All right, that's safe then.
I just hope that it wasn't like an un-PC way of saying someone is disabled. Do you know what I mean? Like it comes from...
I see. Yeah. From their language. Yeah. It's sometimes, that's an offensive one. Yeah.
So I was worried that was me saying, they're slow. Or
well, not that we
retarded is the other word that you're not supposed to say. And I didn't want that to be connected to Mongoloid.
We're getting into Army of Darkness territories on this one.
Yeah, also, not that we really care about PC, because when...
we all use Macs.
When Yes. When Kingsman 2 will come, you'll see what not PC is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I came out raging on this one.
Shall we can... That's a good segue, Yann. Let's talk about Julianne Moore, then.
Yeah, well, I thought about this morning, preparing for the episode. So, did I enjoy Suburbicon less because I saw her before in Kingsman 2? Probably.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Oh, that is slating for Kingsman 2, man.
No, she was not the problem, but it's just like, I was joking with myself, but,
I think that whatever she was trying to do in Kingsman 2, me and Anouk had a conversation about this as well, actually. Like, did we try to figure out what did she film first? Like, did she film Suburbicon first and just use that character again? Or did she film Kingsman 2 and think, I didn't really do enough with that character, so I'll try and do more in this one?
Well, I don't know, because I really loved the first Kingsman, but the only thing that I felt weird was, also just as Poppy, a stereotypical character played by Samuel L. Jackson. That was the only issue I had. I just
the
didn't
villain.
get weird.
Yeah.
So I had a feeling this was kind of a new version of that, so it was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kingsman 2 is a tricky one.
We're definitely doing Kingsman 2 for St. Andrew's Day, apparently. Are we?
Yeah.
No, we might not, because we won't get that on time. We won't get that on time.
It's kind of sad to do that, because that could have been a really good Scottish film, and it's sad to just waste it on Kingsman 2.
Just to make everyone in Scotland aware, we're not saying that Kingsman 2 is a good Scottish film. It's because there's jokes in Kingsman 2 that surprisingly work to a Scottish audience.
Yeah.
So
Yes, because they.
Because we're so famous for Braveheart.
It's weird. Yeah.
Sorry, Yann?
They use the accent quite a lot for some reason, so I don't know what all those jokes meant. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll probably talk about that
we'll
when it
explain
comes.
that when we get there.
Yeah. I really I thought Julianne Moore was very good in this. I thought acting actually was one of the best things in this film, for sure.
Yeah.
Very strong and very consistent. I was very confused about why they used Julianne Moore twice.
I think it's because of the sister aspect.
Yeah, was it supposed to show that
I think
she basically becomes Rose?
No, I think the full point was
because the original wife, the wife was disabled.
Yeah.
There's a really weird thing mentioned in one of the Ricky Gervais podcasts where Carl, it's quite funny because we're basically referring to the Bible of podcasting here. There's a bit where Carl talks about, there was a news report that a man cheated on his wife with her identical twin sister, and he goes, if you're going to have a change, have a change. Right. So in this one, he changes from one wife to the other, essentially. They look the exact same. I think because Julianne Moore in the wheelchair, his wife is a bit not what he wants, and the sister's maybe a bit more free going and easy and all that sort of thing. Yeah,
I said something to you a few days ago. Not exactly like that, but he'd probably prefer the valid one.
He seemed to be that type of man, actually, and I wouldn't be surprised, because, in the beginning he seemed a little bit pathetic, but, not like you felt for him, but you just a normal, upstanding guy in a way, just going from day to day, and then suddenly, slowly throughout the film, it's like, Jesus Christ, this man is awful. And so then you think, oh, did he change wives because Rose was in a car accident? I would totally believe that.
Yeah, I'm going to say one word, and this film is essentially this play, Macbeth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Lady Macbeth going on here with Julianne Moore's sister and Matt Damon.
Yeah, you don't know who's the worst person, even though it's not really Lady Macbeth, because Maggie, I think they both work off each other. Lady Macbeth kind of takes the reins.
I think she's a very interesting version of Lady Macbeth in that aspect, because you can play Lady Macbeth as weaker than Macbeth, and it makes it even more underhanded.
I guess so, yeah.
But you don't always have to
Macbeth
play her as the
says,
strong.
no, I don't want to do this. And Lady Macbeth says, yes, you are, mate. Maggie never really does that, does she? I think they're kind of as bad as each other. And actually, in the end, oh no. Sorry, I was just about to say, in the end, he's worse, but actually, he's not worse. Are we doing spoilers in this? No.
It's not even been released we can. No, we can, because we will release it on when it's released here. That's the 27th of November, I think.
I haven't actually been speaking about this film a lot, so this is probably why this sounds very rambly, because my thoughts are kind of everywhere with this film. But I'm just realizing now that she does try and kill him.
What, the boy?
The boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she isn't actually any good connected to Matt Damon.
But
I was just about to say that Matt Damon becomes even more awful than Maggie does, because he actually threatens to kill Nikki. But then I realized that Maggie does actually kill. Well, she's closer to killing him.
Well, he threatens to kill the boy, and he is killed by the stuff that was supposed to be killing the boy from Maggie, yeah.
Which is interesting, actually.
Yeah.
That's probably the whole thing, they killed each other.
Yeah.
Because she dies because of something that he got embroiled in. No, sorry. That was my only point, that they're actually as bad as each other.
Yeah.
That was really rambly. Apologies.
It's all right. Don't worry.
It's just a very complicated film.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of stuff and not a long runtime.
No.
This one's over quickly.
It's like 2 hours?
Not even that.
Not even? An hour and a half?
1:47, I think it was.
Yeah,
47.
it's a shorty.
Shorty.
What else happens in this film? Not a lot, really.
Bit bored?
They off Julianne Moore, and then they try and get away with it, and they don't. Nothing really happens until Oscar Isaac turns up.
Yeah, it is quite slow, actually. But I wasn't bored.
No, I wasn't either.
Same thing, yeah.
So I kind of know what you mean, Yann, by saying I don't know how I feel about this film, because I wasn't bored. I was completely enveloped in the world. They actually didn't do anything wrong, but there is something... I feel a bit wrong saying, wow, that was an amazing film. Do you know what I mean? That feels wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know why it feels wrong, but it wasn't amazing. Did it feel a bit low on energy?
It felt like a sinusoid. Like sometimes it was energetic, sometimes not. Sometimes it was always moving from one to the other. I
felt it would have been better as a play.
It was, yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like with the lights and the atmosphere and an audience, like this could be a really interesting play.
Yeah.
But it's like Yann brought up at the beginning, like world building and setting the scene of 1920s. I think that's more developed in most of the story is in a way.
Yeah, 'cause we totally understand. I mean, well, we kind of totally know what this black family moving into Suburbicon is feeling and what's going on there.
Yeah, nothing. That's the most dramatic parts of the film when they're like the house is being sieged, even though we've got
that's tough.
Yeah, that's the most dramatic part, and then we've got a whole section with mobsters try to kill Julianne Moore and Matt Damon and the kid, and there's not really, you don't really feel any stakes in that final fight.
Actually, I remember when my thoughts kind of changed when Matt Damon said to Isaacs, please keep the curtains drawn. We know what's going on over there. And it was a bit like, okay, I understand if you're terrified of what's going on in your backyard, but also it felt a bit blinkered. Do you know what I mean? It's like something's going on. These are your next door neighbors.
I saw it. I didn't see it like that, actually. I thought it was more like, I don't want people, or maybe I'm thinking ahead there. I don't want people to see that I have someone unknown in the neighborhood with me in here. I don't know.
Yeah.
It can be both ways, I guess. But
yeah, I just thought it was a bit strange. And I mean, I understand that he had the curtains drawn, but it was just his reaction was a bit nothingy. Like, oh, sorry, could you just keep that closed, please?
Okay. That's his
it was a
character.
bit like dismiss. Yeah, I felt it was just a bit low on energy. And I know the tactics might have just been dismiss or defer.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Deflect.
Is Matt Damon using a method? I guess if he is, screw the tactics.
Yeah, true. I mean, even though mindset is method in a way, no?
I don't know.
I'll leave that to the
it's just
decide.
no. They have all the emotional memory and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's different.
I mean,
I'm not sure why they only had the fence on two sides. Well, they needed some space for the people to do the music and everything, but they could have had three sides. And if the dad clearly wasn't really happy about the son seeing the other kid, the colored kid, he probably would have put the...
I think that was more deep, as in like Matt Damon didn't want people to be looking at him in a way. You know, like if my kid's the only friend with the black kid, people are going to look at me and like, what are you doing? When all he really wants to do is hide away and get away to Aruba.
Yeah, so it reinforces what I just said then. Why didn't he just go with the flow and put the third fence?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
When you see at the very end, when the camera moves out from the helicopter or whatever, you can see just the whole neighborhood and just two fences. It feels weird, like because I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he didn't have time.
Maybe they didn't think of it.
I mean, his life was pretty full at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I kind of thought that it was just a blame game in the end, because he was just like, I don't want you hanging around with that black kid. And it was like, okay, so you're blaming someone else now. And it's easier for you to blame the black people because they're different from anyone else that is in your neighborhood. It was like, you actually have I don't really think that you're racist. You're just using someone else because you don't want to blame yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I took it. we are talking about it, and I know that we kind of have to, but do you know what I mean? Maybe that's kudos to the film, because we are talking about it.
Yeah, you ask yourselves questions for sure.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
My question is, though, if I wasn't doing this because of a podcast, would I be asking myself these questions? Or would I have just forgotten about this film?
Yeah, probably not.
This is my concern with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there is some really nice stuff in it when you think about it, but honestly, I understand why this kind of flopped, because I don't really know what's going on.
Right. And I'm not sure if I want to recommend it to a friend. Like, would I tell people to go see this film? I'm not sure.
Yes.
It's a bit of a weird podcast because no one knows how they feel.
I think we may have our first thing here.
Undecided.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I'm currently, I'll tell you where I am right now in my mindset. I am currently deciding if this film is bad or just plain standard.
Really?
Yeah, because I have a set list in my head sometimes of questions I have to ask myself when I call a film good.
That's a good idea, actually.
To call a film good, I have two major ones in my head, which are this. A, would I tell my friend that you should go and see this film? Then the second question is, would I buy this on DVD or watch it if it came online?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you need to realize the things that you don't do. Like, for example, I immediately said afterwards, I'll recommend this to a friend, and I didn't. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I actually forgot to recommend that, and I'm sure that says something, because if I was actually excited about this film, surely I would have told everyone to go see it.
Well, we openly said to our flatmates, it's not what the trailer is. That was the thing we said about this film.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything about the film, we talked about, it's different from the trailer.
Yeah. I think I might have said that I really enjoyed it.
But it is enjoyable. You will absolutely enjoy it, yeah.
But you can, maybe we're realising that you can enjoy a bad film.
Well, look at The Room.
Yeah.
Look at Troll 2.
That's very true.
You know?
Yeah, one of the main stuff that I've always asked myself is not if I would recommend it to someone, but would I actually spend the £10?
Oh, that's a really good one.
That's a good one
That's
for Adam.
An excellent one. Hey, just because I live in Scotland and most of the things we assume are, he's like, how was your holiday? Mate, $2.50 a pint. That's how you work out how much you enjoyed a holiday. If a pint costs less than it does in Edinburgh, that's a good holiday. If it costs more than it costs in London, oh well, it's about £6 for a pint. £6 for a pint? Outrageous. Shite.
No, I meant personally. I didn't mean just because you're Scottish. I wasn't trying to reinforce a racial stereotype.
Alright, so you're just saying I'm tight-fisted.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Exactly. Anyway, that might be good for you, Adam, because I have no value.
Yeah, you've got no sense of money.
Yeah.
You're like, how much is that? Fuck it.
I want it. I'll buy it.
I'll just spend £600 on something. Like, yeah. That's good.
No, I'm not like that bad, but yeah.
Okay, so would I purchase without the Cineworld card?
Yeah, but that's more than £10, isn't it? Like 12.
The Cineworld card is $7.40 a year. Me and Yann had a discussion yesterday about maybe we should give away either a Cineworld card or like a Cineworld pack at Christmas for like a listener in the UK.
Oh yeah.
But I also thought maybe we should start putting our refer a friend codes out to see if anyone wants to try the Cineworld card. It's well worth having, you know.
Especially if you love film and you're watching it, because I mean it's £17 a month, but you make that back in what, 2 films?
Yeah, 2 films you've paid it off already.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you have a Cineworld near you, it's well worth having the card.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
And we can put our refer a friend code, so you can you get a month free, and you can give either me, Anouk, or Yann, depending on who your favourite host is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, thinking about how many films we have to watch for this, and I'm sure quite a lot of people are like massive movie buffs. It's like such a good thing to do.
Yeah, it just makes going to the cinema like less of a stress, because you're not having to worry like, it's like 40. Because I talked to my hairdresser last time I was there, and she was like, what are you up to now? And I'm like, I'm doing a podcast about film. And she's like, and we were chatting about the fact that she's got a family, she's got 2 kids, so if her and her husband go, it's like easily 40 quid, you know, to go to the cinema.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like the Unlimited card does make life easier, especially if you're a couple like me and Anouk. Like we can just go and see a film and we don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You know, we can just go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So in that in mind, Yann's right. And like, would I purchase a ticket for this film? Or, and having that question, would I be annoyed if I'd bought a ticket for this film? i.e. would I want my money back?
Yes. It reminds me, actually, the fact that you have two criteria of a concept I heard a few days ago. The 3 sieves of Socrates for information.
Yes.
I'll just read the story I've got online there. One day, the old wise Socrates walks down the streets when all of a sudden a man runs up to him. Socrates, I have to tell you something about your friend who... Hold up! Socrates interrupts him. About the story you're about to tell me. Did you put it through the 3 thieves? 3 thieves? The man asks, what 3 thieves? Let's try it, Socrates says. The first thief is the one of truth. Did you examine what you were about to tell me, if it is true? Socrates asks. Well, no, I just overheard it, the man says. Ah, well, then you have used the second thief, the thief of good? Socrates asks. Is it something good, what you're about to tell me? No, on the contrary, the man answers. The wise man says. Let's use the third thief then. Is it necessary to tell me what you're so excited about? No, not necessary, the man says. Well, Socrates says with a smile, if the story you're about to tell me isn't true, good, or necessary, just forget it and don't bother me with it.
I wish they applied that to the Emoji Movie.
Yeah, that wasn't true, good, or necessary. One thing I would say is that I did quite like, especially in the tumult of what's happening in America and here as well, the race thing was quite interesting to think about.
The movie should have been about that. Really.
So that B plot was probably more true, more good, and more necessary than the A. So that's a big problem.
I want to like this film. I really do, because I love the Coen Brothers. I really do.
Maybe this is what our problem is, that we want to like... And actually, I really enjoyed the story. I thought the story was great, but there was just something off about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you saw this, would you be annoyed? No, because you would go and enjoy it. But as a podcast and a reviewer and having to think, like, of what we've seen and not even comparing against other movies, just being like, where is this on our scale of what we are, our format?
Will we have a hang jury?
No, I think we're really struggling for what we're going to put it in, because it's a conflicted issue here. All right, let's talk about it together. Unless anyone else has anything to say about the movie.
No, I mean, it's going to be a short one because I'm not really sure.
No, not really. We can have a debate about this aspect. We've never done this before. So, okay, this is what we're going to call... Because we robbed the good, the bad, and the ugly, we can have a shootout for having a debate about what we think about the film.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all in agreement that in the standard of what we use for our format, we can't really say this film's good, can we?
No.
Can we? What do you think, Yann?
It is establishing what it was set to establish, so maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not terrible enough to be bad.
No.
And it's not unnecessary to be just plain standard.
Yeah, it does care as well. There's passion in it as well, so it can't be standard.
And it's always something that we do realize, and it's always like 1 or 2 years of work in a movie, whatever the movie it is. So it's projects of passion.
Yeah, of course.
It is tough because there's so much good in here.
It was a bit tired though.
Okay, I think I figured out where I stand with this one.
Okay.
Right, so in vain of what I said with Jigsaw is why I'm going with this, right? If you're a fan of movies, and if you're a fan of George Clooney direction or Coen Brothers writing, this film is good. You know, you get what you want. You get a Coen Brothers weird but convinced reality. You know, you get it, and you feel for it, and you enjoy a story. So with that in mind, if you like this style of film, if you enjoyed Hail Caesar, if you enjoy the Coen Brothers or George Clooney, you'll get enjoyment out of this film. You'll think it's good. And equally, if you don't, you will enjoy this movie. But from what I established a couple of weeks back with the just plain standard where something doesn't try something and it just sits in its own idea, I have to say this film is just plain standard. I have to, because my definition of just plain standard was that when a film doesn't try to do anything new. This film doesn't. You know, there are bits in it where it's other things. But when you look at it as a whole picture, the B plot is forgotten about. Not terribly, it's there, but it's not unfolded. It's not just not what I want it to be. I wanted more from it. I wanted the film to be about that. But then again, that's a different film entirely. The Matt Damon and Julianne Moore's performances are excellent, and so is the young kid. In fact, it's one of the best kid performances I've seen in a long time. You forget that boy, he's a child actor. He holds his own.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to what are you trying to say with this film? And why is it here? This is a misfire. I don't know what this film is.
I know what you mean, especially because there are some theatre productions and film productions that they're able to have a B plot alongside it that might not connect to the A plot, but because of the subject matter, it does. And I think maybe this is what they were trying to do, that with subject matter it gets connected. But for some reason it just felt disjointed and tired and a bit confused. But I walked out happy.
Yeah, this is why I'm struggling. What I mean is, it is my definition of what just plain standard. Like, it meets some of the criteria. But if I think about, in the future, we're going to see films that are going to be really just plain standard. Like, the Emoji Movie is in this category of just plain standard. This is where my issue is. I can't put this in the same category as that. But it doesn't do enough for me to redeem, like, a good in the good category.
Right, so maybe we need to put a slash between it.
It's in the danger zone. Like, it's a well-made movie. It is better than John Wick.
Yeah.
It's better than John Wick.
It's in the upside down somewhere.
It's really in the middle. It's not bad, and it's not like Alien good. It's not Baby Driver good, but it is good. So it is good.
Yeah, there are not... you don't see flaws or major filmmaking mistakes or story.
No, not at all.
And honestly, this is what I'm thinking as an actor. If I ever happened to work with the Coen Brothers or George Clooney or anyone involved in this movie, I would have major positive things to say about this film.
Yeah, no, that's exactly.
This is where it's so hard for me because of the categories that, well, I made the format of this for the good, the bad, and the just plain standard. I should call it just plain standard from what I've said. But having said that, the film impressed me enough and did what it needed to do and had good moments and it had thought-provoking moments. And to be honest, right, if this film really was just plain standard, we wouldn't be able to talk about anything in this film. We
would just have had a 5-minute episode.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, just to add, that scene where they're chloroforming all of them, that was tense. Yeah. That was really tense. And like watching that kid slowly kind of losing consciousness and the light and the unfocus thing, like, was kind of genius. Like, and I'd never seen anything like that was so tense. I think this is good standard.
Yann, anything else before I ask the question? We're basically talking about what we think.
Yeah, you can ask the question. I'll add some stuff, but yeah. It's
okay, fine. Here we go then. Anouk, Yann, was Suburbicon good, bad, or just plain standard? Anouk?
I don't know.
Right.
It was, I think it was all three.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yann?
Well, I don't know. No. I would say I place it in good with a big however placed afterwards. That if it wasn't an unlimited screening, so we had the added kind of bonus to see it before release and for free, but just like all the movies we're going to see. I would not recommend anyone to go in theaters and place £10 or $10 on the movie, but go and on Netflix when it goes out, because it's worth seeing it. Mm-hmm. Probably not paying for it, but seeing it legally, yes, on Netflix you can. So
okay, I figured out what my major gripe is here. I love that word, gripe.
Okay.
I was sold on this movie by a trailer. Did I get what I wanted in the trailer? No, I didn't. No. I didn't. It's like Hail Caesar. People are have a really weird opinion about Hail Caesar. The trailer for Hail Caesar made me go and see it. The trailer for Suburbicon made me go and see it. I agree with Yann, really, that if this hadn't have been an unlimited screening, and honestly, if I hadn't seen the trailer in, I don't even know why I remember the name of the movie. I think because Suburbicon is one of these really, like, distinctive looks of the film, I remembered, like, the 1920s aspect. So when I saw the thumbnail on the Cineworld website saying this was coming out, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the trailer for this, I'll go and see it. If I hadn't have seen the trailer for this movie, I don't think we would have seen it, probably. And this is where I'm struggling here, because did I enjoy it? Yes. If I walked off the street like I did with The Beguiled and invented this podcast in the middle of that screening, would I be focused on the film? Yes. Would I pay £10 to go and see it? Would I pay full price? Or would I tell my parents to go and see it and they would enjoy it because they don't have Cineworld cards? Probably not. No. I wouldn't. It's tough because I don't want to damn the film. I'm not damning the film at all. I mean, I feel that it's like a television. It would work better as a TV series. Like, yeah,
it needed more time.
I feel like if it was a whole world and we spent spent with them. Like, it's like if it had the drama of Dr. Foster, but the world building of HBO standards like Westworld and Game of Thrones, this could be an amazing package. It's like what happened with Fargo. Like, look at the TV series Fargo compared to the film Fargo, you know? Like, it's a whole big ball game now. And people love that show. Even people that weren't big fans of the movie love the show. I feel like this was a pilot.
Yeah, it was in the wrong genre then. Maybe that's what we're...
I think that this doesn't work as a piece of cinema, but it would work as a television show. So with that in mind, I will put this in the good category. I will retract what I said that this film is just plain standard, because it doesn't deserve to be damned to that, because it is convinced in what it is, and it sets itself up nicely, and there are a lot of really good scenes in this film. There are.
Yeah.
Really good. And I would, one day, maybe if I ever got the chance to meet the Coen Brothers or George Clooney, I would ask them, like, about this film, because that's the thing. Even though this film was not what I expected, I want to know what the filmmakers were going for in this, because I'm curious, and I'm still asking myself questions. And I think, at the end of the day, if a film makes you ask questions and that's what you want out of the cinema, go and see Suburbicon, because you will ask yourself things and you'll think about others. But if you don't get to the cinema very much and you just want to, like, relax and, you know, turn off and, like, you just usually watch Netflix. Actually, this is a good example for Anouk. Anouk, you remember the taxi we got in London? The Uber guy?
Yeah.
When we went to your friends up in North East Finchley?
Yeah.
We were in the taxi with this guy. It was the only Uber I've ever been in. The guy plays classical music. I distinctly remember the guy said he didn't watch TV series because there's so many of them and he didn't want to binge them. Especially as he worked with Uber, he didn't really have the time. Like, he was always busy. He and his wife watched movies because you get a full package. I would recommend this to this guy, because it's a nice piece of film that you could sit down and watch, and it's a well-made film, and it asks some questions, and it's not just there to be watched. So for that reason, because I can recommend it to one person specifically, I will call this good.
Yeah, okay. I'll agree with you there. I thought it was good too.
So I'm just like Jury 8 now. I'm reverting everyone.
12 Angry Men in it, yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. I'm telling you, none of them are good. You know what I mean. I love that. That's one of my favourite films of all time, that film.
I said to Amir that he was so much better than Tony Danza.
Oh, yes.
No, Tony Danza was fine, but yeah.
It was very good. Yeah, so that's that.
Well, thank you to George Clooney and the Coen Brothers for making a decisive episode of The Good, the Bad and the Just Plain Standards, because we had a real debate there.
Yeah, that was defining.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Your film, regardless if anyone sees it or not, your film did make people think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it'll make the rest of my life a lot easier, especially in this podcast, because now I go, is this film just plain standard? If I was going to put this film next to Suburbicon, is this just plain standard? So it makes it easier for me, because this film isn't just plain standard because of the way it's made and all of that.
No, it is good. It is good.
So
just in the wrong genre.
It's made me define the rating category a bit easier as well, so thank you very much.
Well,
okay.
Also, it's said that it's a crime comedy. We don't get much of those, actually.
Oh.
Crime comedy, that's how it's defined, yeah.
Okay.
On the online.
Did I laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Crime comedy, I wouldn't call it crime, though. I mean, maybe psychological drama.
Yeah, he wasn't much of a criminal, was he? Well, he was. He broken the law.
No, because there was a crime.
Yeah.
So, okay, I guess.
Like Aslam. Well, not comedy, but crime.
Crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess when I think of crime, I think of like
mob
CSI or something.
Oh, right.
Like police chase, car chase and all this stuff.
Yes.
Like I kind of thought The Baby Driver was more crime comedy.
Oh, good. That's a crime comedy or a heist comedy.
Heist comedy.
Yeah. A heist comedy set to music.
This was more psychological because this was like real and not real and yeah. And also, to be fair, this was tough subject matter, man. This is like racism. That's tough. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not so black and white. Ha ha ha.
Oh.
Dear, oh dear.
Sorry.
Well,
we just reached 737, just like the airplane. Downloads in total.
Oh.
Exciting. So exciting.
So that's 123 left to go.
That is too exciting.
No,
200.
223.
It's fine. It's fine.
Ah,
So
well.
thank you again for listening, and it shows in the numbers. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Let us know what you thought of Suburbicon when you saw it, because I'd like to have a debate with this one.
I'd like to have more comments. I feel like people should start commenting on, because it'd be nice to like broaden out our conversations and like see what other people are thinking.
I'd be very happy to revisit Suburbicon when if people commented saying what they liked and didn't like about the film. Like, we could have a whole discussion about aspects of films that we may have missed in the episode. I'd quite like to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, if Ethan or Joel Coen or George Clooney comments,
Yeah, we'd love that.
We're expecting it from you.
Okay, so we were
Adam.
Anouk.
and Yann. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.